Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome to the PowerWomen podcast. This is the show where powerful women share their journeys, discuss how to solve powerful issues, and the power men who help us rise. I'm your host, Power Mom, Claire Brown. Hey, y'all. Hey, we're here with Jennifer Maune. And Jennifer, I am so excited to introduce you to everyone. And I really feel that you don't really need an introduction. And you've become basically a household name overnight. It's kind of crazy. And so tell everyone, who is Jennifer Maune and what does she do now?
I am Jennifer Maune, mom of six, and a certified chef, a certified pastry chef, a home decorator, realtor, and now a MasterChef finalist.
I know. And so you're still being a little humble about all that.
Oh, yeah.
You are. You always are. And I appreciate that about you. You always have been that way. And you and I met in when I was in the sixth grade. You were seventh grade.
Yes.
And then, went through school together and have kept up with each other through the years. And Arkansas is a small state, and so is our city in Little Rock. And so anyways, we've known each other for quite some time. I don't think I need to advertise how long that's been.
But it's very special, though. I think the world.
It is. I think the same of you. And so it's been really a joy to see your growth. And so was it 5 or 6 years ago you started a blog?
6 years ago.
Yeah. So 6 years ago you started a blog, and that was really just an outlet as a mom?
Yes. I was a stay-at-home mom at the time, had been for a few years. My first career was in event planning, fundraising, and nonprofit management. I worked for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, helped build their chapter, which is thriving here in Arkansas now. And then had 3 kids in about 3 years. And my daughter had some health challenges when she was born. So I decided to stay at home for a little while. And then a few years later, started the blog looking for a creative outlet and a way to connect with other like-minded people. Started sharing a little bit of motherhood, but also home living, anything that really revolved around the home. So that could be, entertaining tips, tablescapes, and home design, and then also family recipes.
Right. And it just snowballed. Everything just grew.
It was certainly just a hobby at first. I didn't realize you could earn an income or build a business based off of a blog. I started sharing on social media. My social media following started to grow. And so that really parlayed into owning a media company where I offer content creation services, photography services, and then I share inspirational content on all social media channels and then the blog.
I know. And I love watching it. It's so fun to see everything you do. And so, no, but it is true. And
I always said I wanted to be an interior designer, and I did take courses in my early 20s. And then I said I wanted to be a photographer and event planner, and some of these things I've gotten to do. But really, the blog allows me to do everything that I love all in one. So it's the perfect fit for me.
It is. It's the perfect fit for you. And so I personally have loved your kitchen mats. They're my favorite.
Yes. Yay.
And and they're padded.
Yes.
Tell us about them.
Well, that's one fun thing about the blog is it's opened so many doors into another thing that for the last few years, in fact, I don't know if you remember when you interviewed me for the PowerWomen group, we talked about my desire, and this was years and years ago. We talked about my desire of creating my own product line. Yeah. And now I have this comfort mat line. And the reason why I chose to start there is because I am now a certified chef, but I also love design. I love a beautiful home. And most often when you see comfort mats, whether it be at Walmart or Target or, an online retailer, they aren't very pretty. And so I wanted to marry the two concepts of design and comfort in the home. And so I created this line. We have 4 more patterns coming with 3 different colors for each pattern. And so those will be released in, I'd say, 4 to 6 weeks. And so they're doing very well. In fact, one of my patterns has landed in Williams-Sonoma. So you can also, shop there. And so it's been very successful and an honor. But what's exciting is that there are so many more products to come. So I'm working with a team of people, and we have a long wish list of things that I would love to design and get into retailers. So that way I can share my love for design and making home beautiful. My tagline is living life beautiful. And so I just want to take the everyday product, make it more beautiful and user friendly and high quality, and then share that love with other people.
And I love that. It's also great. I love how organic your journey is and how you just lean into it and you pray about it, and wherever God opens a door, you go. And you're very transparent about that. And that's how your MasterChef journey was as well. And so you've discussed that and told that story. I know over and over you feel like a broken record. And so you started that because one of your children wanted to go on the show for children.
Yes. So MasterChef has an adult version, and then MasterChef Junior, which is for kids ages 8 to 13, I believe. And the story actually starts with the MasterChef live tour. So I don't believe they do this every year, but back in 2001, they had a tour with 2 adult finalists and then 2 children, the junior finalists. And they did a 6-week tour around the country. They came to Little Rock. My culinary school, the University of Arkansas Pulaski Technical College, brought them to our school and asked for student volunteers to come help them prep their food. So I, as a busy mom, and also a business owner, one of the things that I gave up in order to fit it all in was watching TV. I don't watch a lot of TV. I mean, I do here and there, but on a regular basis, do not. And so because of that, I had not watched MasterChef at the time. And so when they came to the school, that was my first introduction into MasterChef, but really the whole concept of cooking competition shows. And my daughter and I invited my daughter to join us that day. She is a little baker. She loves to cook. She cooks us breakfast in the mornings. She can cook, cakes, cupcakes, cookies, cake pops. She does it all. And so she wanted to come with me. So we spent the day helping them prep their food. She met the junior people, loved them. And so after that experience, we started watching the show together without, for me, without any personal desire or plan to ever audition for any type of show, honestly. I have for years wanted my own show where I could share all the things that I love. But while I'm a competitive person with myself, I am not a competitive person with other people, and I'm not always comfortable in that environment. So I had never planned to be a part of MasterChef or really any other cooking competition show. Prior to my daughter last September, after we had watched the show, we started watching Junior together just as a kind of fun thing to do together. She asked if she could audition. And so we just searched to see when and how they even held auditions and how to be casted, and then found that the adult show was casting.
Yeah. And so long story short, you sent in a video at the last minute.
Yes.
You sent in a video.
So the application asked basic questions, what type of food do you like to cook? What do you excel at? They asked for, I think it was 10 photos, examples of your food. Maybe it was 5, something like that. They asked for a 2-minute audition tape that shared your experience, your food dream, why you love to cook. And so I put all that together very quickly because the deadline was approaching. And so I got that all in at 10 p.m. the night of the deadline. And and I prayed, my husband and I prayed together, Lord, please open or close the door. the next day at 1 p.m., I got a call from a casting producer from Los Angeles, telling me that they were so impressed with my application and asking to, move me forward and continue with the process of casting, which was about a 3-month process in total from that time until we were actually told that we were going to LA and would be participating in the filming.
Yeah. And how long did filming take?
So it's funny because they say it starts with an estimated 40,000 applicants. And then I learned once we got there that they took 6,000 people through the interview and audition process, varying stages, of course, because every week we would get an email that said, congratulations, you've been selected to move forward in the process. Here's what we need from you next week or in 2 weeks, And so we got there and we were told that 80 of us were flown to LA and only 40 of us would stay to cook. So we had to agree to be there 2 to 3 weeks. And then if we were selected to be in the top 40, and then of course the top 20, once we got our white aprons, then it would be an 8 to 10 week process. So from that beginning point to the end, it took 8 full weeks.
Okay. So total, you were there 3 months.
No, I was there for 8 weeks total.
Okay. And the ages of your children range in what?
At the time, they were 13 to 2. So now my son just turned 14 yesterday, and my littlest turned 3. So they're 14 to 3 currently.
Yeah. And as a mother, that's really, it's hard to be away from your children for a week or more.
Oh,
and
yes.
Yeah.
It was
8 weeks is really difficult.
It was the hardest thing that I've done. I won't lie, there were tears. I would set up, my husband would set up the iPad in the playroom on my off day. And we didn't have many off days, but on the off day that I had, he would set up the iPad in the playroom and I would just sit there for hours watching the baby play and would, just tears streaming down my face, And so thankfully, at least every few days, I got a good long FaceTime in with them. Sometimes it was just quick, good night, love you. Other times we were filming so late that, the 2-hour difference between LA and Arkansas, would prevent me from being able to say goodnight. But I did. I called every night that I could. We FaceTimed, even, was just involved in bedtime. I sang lullabies. Sometimes they would set the iPad up at the dinner table so mom could be sitting at the dinner table. When I left, they of course told you to pack for 8 weeks, but we just never knew how long it was going to last. And, towards, as we got into the competition, I realized that I had some strengths that were unique and I was dealing with the pressure of, competing at that level. And so I thought that I had a chance to make it to the end, but we just never knew, so it's funny. Sometimes Brian would be up until 1 a.m. here just to wait to hear if he knew I had an important challenge like top 10 or, there were some things that I was especially worried about with, I have a hearing disability. So there were some things I was worried about. So he would wait up just to see, how things went. But it was hard, but, has already opened so many doors. Things, it's funny, back to my audition tape. I watched that not too long ago, just to kind of be reminded. And I kind of smiled at myself because I was so green then, not knowing what the world of Hollywood would be like, what it was like to film a show of this magnitude. They had, over 200 staff members on the production team. It was a major production, hundreds of cameras. The set was incredible. It was it was a movie set.
Oh yeah.
But I went back and watched that audition tape and my food dream that I talked about a year ago, which was something that I had been dreaming of for years. All of that is now happening. Every single thing that I said I wanted to do if I were to win MasterChef, all of those things are currently in motion. a cookbook deal, a restaurant. I have several investors that I have been meeting with. I have been looking at real estate options in Hot Springs, Little Rock, Benton. Conway wants me to come there and look at some options. I've gotten requests from Northwest Arkansas. I have a good lead in the Memphis area with actually another MasterChef contestant. So things are in motion, and I just never could have imagined then that things could happen so quickly. So it's certainly been a vehicle to what will be life-changing for my family.
Very life-changing.
Yes.
And have you made a new list now of what you want, a year or 5 years from now that all of this has come to fruition? Have you?
Oh, say that again. Sorry.
Have you made a new list of what you want in the future now that the old list has come to fruition?
I have my kind of big, crazy, scary goal of having my own show. And again, something that I thought would be a 5-year, maybe even a 10-year goal. The restaurant for me was my 5-year to 10-year goal. And, just on Monday, I was meeting with an investor looking at, a potential option. And they're like, how soon can you do this? So it's really fun because that list of those goals, they're happening now. And so the other main thing that, honestly, I was too scared to put on the list was a full licensed brand of products. And I just got a contract from a major licensing agent that only works with top tier celebrities. I mean, he and his partner's list of celebrities that they've worked with their brands include Real Housewives and former presidents. And to be honest, on that call a few weeks ago, I thought, why me? I don't deserve to be talking to these people right now. What do they see in me, And I just got the contract, and reading what they envision for me and what they plan for me and what they see, coming to fruition in the next 2 years is just mind blowing. So that is that and the show are kind of my long-term goals that are just in the early stages of process.
Right. And so I want to hit on a couple of things because I think everybody, at least locally and in the state, is very excited for you to have a restaurant. And so we all want to know, where's it going to be? What's it going to be called? And when is it going to open?
We're working on the details of the name because there's trademarking to consider. There's business entity to consider. In fact, I was just on the phone with my CPA this morning, lining out some of those details. I hope it will be called Heritage Table, which is maybe the first time that I've said that publicly. And that comes from, I just have to tell this quick story because I think my grandmother, my late grandmother, Peggy Vining. She was Poet Laureate of Arkansas. And she wrote a poem called The Natural State that is the state's poem. And so when I sat down to think of what is the name of my brand moving forward, of course, Jennifer Maune is my blog name, but I wanted something that could be on a restaurant or a seasoning bottle or, a pots and pans line. And so I went to her poem first and just read through it to see what jumps out at me. And she talks about heritage in her poem. So I got that from my late grandmother, who was so special to me and is part of the reason why I love food so much and love to cook so much. That was
y'all
born
cook together
in her kitchen. And so so it will be, my overall brand is called Heritage. And we are taking the next month or so to determine where the first location will be. But I hope I have one in Hot Springs, Benton, Little Rock, Northwest Arkansas, and then, move across the South and beyond. So that's the long-term goal.
Long-term vision. I love that. Yeah. And one thing I've always appreciated is you don't think small. You don't. You think big and you have a large vision. whether it's with your family of how many children you're going to have,
Mm-hmm.
or whether it's in business. And I think that's amazing and wonderful. You don't limit yourself. And so many people would say, well, I have this many children, there's no way I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't stop you, which I think is such a huge lesson, especially for women, because we limit ourselves by being mothers, and don't allow ourselves to continue to move forward into our gifts.
Yes.
And you have not done that.
Well, I appreciate
You've
that.
continued.
I have had so many women reach out during and after the show, just sharing that my journey meant a lot to them. And, like we've discussed, that was very difficult to be away from the kids. But if one part of the silver lining of that difficult experience was that I could inspire others to, utilize their gifts and to keep striving and keep learning and keep growing as a woman, as a human, it makes it worth it,
It does. I think there's so many lessons in what you've done. And I think, just the example of your marriage and how y'all juggle support and help one another through this, it is truly incredible. I haven't seen you speak at an event where you don't give extremely high praise to your husband and don't say how this cannot be done without him. The partnership is truly a partnership.
Yes.
And it is, that is something we don't have these days. It is lost. So to, one, have that model and shown that, and then two, to show your children that, and then also to show them about you going away, achieving and chasing your dreams, being limitless, and all the things and the fruits that come from it, and how their dad does chip in, and how you each lead each other with applause is such a gift to give them.
I love that you mentioned that, because truly without Brian, and, we have a village of grandparents who are very involved and very helpful on a daily basis, and even always offering to help more. But without him and them, I could never have left, but also just really function on a day-to-day basis. I do think it's important to have a partnership, and whether it be putting dinner on the table or bathing kiddos at night or running people to practices. If he's available, he has always been a part of all of our daily tasks and managing our home and our life and our schedule. So I'm eternally grateful for that, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's funny, just last week we were looking at a site, and it's funny, he has an environmental science background, a chemistry degree, and then an MBA in science. And it's so interesting how we're so different, but then together we work so well together as a team. We're touring this property, and he's, mentioning the breakers, and this is where the electricity is. And, I'm seeing some issues with the ceiling here that we're going to need to tackle and need to inquire about. And, things that I just never would have thought of. And I was like, this makes me appreciate you so much more, seeing your skill set and talents here as you're helping me, figure out a plan for moving forward.
Right. And complementing mine. Yeah. And filling in the gaps. Absolutely. Yeah. It's awesome. Y'all do it seamless. You make it look seamless.
Well,
I'll say that.
There are always ups and downs, and nothing is ever perfect. But but we always say we're committed to trying and giving grace, Whole lot of grace, though, when you're busy.
Whole lot of grace. Whole lot of grace. Y'all do it extremely well. And to do it with 6 children, and then with the careers that you both have at the level you have, is really commendable. And you don't do it with a lot of nannies running around. That's the other thing that people don't understand. And so it's that makes it even more of a wow. So we've got home lines, we've got a restaurant coming, and then you also have a new spice line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who knew that was going to be so complicated? Yes, but I'm so excited about it. literally created a test kitchen in my own kitchen with every spice known to man. Started with, just the way I season my own food, the ingredients that I typically utilize whether I'm cooking a protein, whether I'm, might be, a filet, it might be a fish, it might be a sauce or sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second, but I created this test kitchen and pulled together my favorite things. And then I'm working with a blender from Arkansas because it was very important for me that this product was organic and that it was blended in Arkansas, an Arkansas made product. And so we should have it ready in the next week and a half. I'm hoping by Black Friday. And I have these great little gift sets that has all 3 seasonings in one in a box. So that way it's perfect for gifting for, family members, loved ones, even work colleagues, anyone that might need a special gift. Put a bow on the box. It's ready to go under the tree.
I love it. And so where can people go to find all things Jennifer Maune? All things for the spices, for the rugs, for everything.
Yes. So my website, jennifermaune.com, has a shop section. And in that shop section, that's where you'll purchase the heritage seasonings. Also, the rug line is there as well. And another thing that will be coming early next year is we are taking that comfort mat design and we will be offering a washable runner for kitchens and hopefully larger area rugs as well. So we're working on all of that now. But you can also purchase that line on my website. You can also shop at Williams-Sonoma if you prefer there. And then, of course, my website is full of inspiration for recipes for the holidays, for home design. I've got some great DIY projects there and entertaining, whether it be floral design, tablescapes, etc.
Jennifer, real quick, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned through this journey?
That's a great question.
What's the first thing that came to mind?
First thing is never stop growing and learning. At the age of 40, I had a great job that provided, that was, it had gotten easy, I was comfortable, we were paying the bills and I was pregnant. And I told my husband, I was like, I feel like I need this. I need this for me. I need this for my work. And, I didn't even know before I got into it that it would become a lifelong journey and a passion. And, I've always loved to cook. I've been cooking since I was a child, with my grandmother. And once I got into school, I realized this, is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I still will always have the blog. I still always love to design. I just took on a brand new client for my design business. So I'm still offering those services, still helping family members and friends with real estate. But I'm very excited to dive into the culinary industry and open this restaurant. So that's what I would say is, no matter where you are, you can always learn and grow and achieve your dreams.
Right. Again, you don't limit yourself, whether it's your age, whether it's pregnancy, because you were 5 months pregnant and in culinary school, which you were pregnant with number 5 or number 6?
Number 6.
Number 6. Yeah. Just kills me.
Yes.
Nothing stops Jennifer Maune. And so that's one reason I love watching your journey and keeping up with it and taking notes, because there's so many lessons and you don't stop, and those around you continue to help and push. And I think that's another lesson there to who we surround ourselves with.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say is I am so thankful for the friends and really honestly, people like Darren who have, just been so supportive of my journey. So many Arkansans and people from the South. And I'll be honest, there are people worldwide that have messaged me, congratulating me, women worldwide that have, followed this journey. I'm always surprised, I've been stopped at every airport that I've been at since the show started airing, whether it's New York, North Carolina, Memphis, I've been stopped and recognized. And I just spoke at a conference in St. Louis last week.
Louis.
And, you know, in a room of 300 people, half the audience watched the show and, you know, our fans. So it's truly special. But what makes it so much more special is the people, the local people that have been so supportive and kind and affirming. Because, you know, there were some haters, you know, the internet trolls came out after, you know, the sweet Southern mom who all I wanted to do was, you know, do a great job and be nice to people, you know?
Right. Yeah. So, but there's always those people.
Yes. So there were those. So the fact that I was dealing with that in the background, it made it all so much more helpful to have so much support and love.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the way you lead. It is amazing. And I love everything you do. Thank you for continuing to be the same girl from the 6th grade.
Yes. I hope so.
I mean it. You are. So.
I appreciate that.
You are. You are. You've always been so genuine, so authentic, so giving, so caring, and nothing about that has ever changed.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's joy. Thank you for your time, Jennifer. Yes. And I can't wait to see where you continue to go.
Well, it's an honor to be asked to join you today, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, please rate and review on iTunes and check out our website, thepowerwomen.org.